Those who are online, can you all meet clearly? Can you see the board clearly? Can you give me a feedback? Can you all see the board clearly and hear me clearly?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay. All right. So please remember that, especially those online, if there are any questions, anything that you are in doubt, you need to ask, please do not hesitate to voice out. That's very important because you are not physically in connection or in contact with me. So I rely a lot on your feedback. Let's say, for example, I'm putting a concept on the board, and let's say you're not very clear about it, and you're certain doubt, and you want to ask questions, be free to ask. I'm in control. I'm telling you, ask, and I will definitely entertain your question. Okay, make it more clear. All right. Now, let me first explain to you the system by which I will be conducting my tuition classes. All right, I'm Dr. Jason, by the way, and I do not know whether you have heard of me. Okay, I have been very, very long in the education field, and of course, I have other professions to do, but tuition has always been my passion. Okay, not my working life, my passion, but I've been teaching for more than 47 years. Okay, I'm not 47 years old, but I've been teaching for 47 years. I have students whose grandfather were my students. So you can see the amount of years of service I have. So any doubt in your subject matter, please do not hesitate to ask me. Too much of experience, too much of knowledge, too much of skill, I wish to impart to my students. Okay? All right? And the subjects I offer, I think you all know by now, physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, as well as mathematics, from Form 4 up to Upper 6. I also teach Form 6 students, physics, chemistry, biology, and maths. Okay, so there you go, it's a complete thing there. Okay, now, the system by which I write my own notes for my students. So you will be receiving every lesson, every class you come in, you'll be receiving a certain lesson. Okay, so each lesson is written by me based on the KSSM latest syllabus. It's written by me, and my notes is complete. Nothing escapes my notes. For years and years, I've been teaching. Every SPM question will be in my notes. Concept, everything. So what I'm trying to tell you is, yes, you have your own textbooks. Okay, please take the textbooks to school because your teachers will use the textbooks and so on. But when it comes to your own personal reading, come to your own personal enrichment of knowledge and skill, you must make sure you read my books, nothing else. See, that's how you manage. Because you cannot be reading from this text, you cannot be reading from that text, you cannot. You don't need that. Your level is not like that. Once you go to the university, yes, you need to do a lot of research work and so on, but not in form form. Okay, so remember, my student produces A's and A's and A's. Okay, even in Form 6, even in Form 5. 10 students, 4 A students in Form 6. So I have already got a track record which is 47 years old of students scoring A's. So my system works, my notes are very complete. Yeah, yeah. What's your name? Priyanka. All right, okay. I'm just talking about online students. Okay, so as I was telling you, so I will give you my own set of notes. Those are online. Have you received the notes? Tell me yes or no. That's the notes I'm talking about. Each class, there will be a lesson given to you. And what did I say? Please only read my notes. You will have your own textbooks. That one in school you use it. But when it comes to your own personal reading, own personal enrichment, please read my notes. Okay, and the one I expect you to do. You have come to me and I'm coaching you, you need to follow me. Okay, all right. Okay, now listen. So when you come for the first class, you'll be given lesson 1. Now, sometimes a certain chapter can be finished within lesson 1. So assuming the first, for example, the first chapter in physics, one lesson is enough to finish it because the chapter 1 itself is very short. But when it comes to chapter 2, 3 lessons will be required. So you'll be going up to 3 lessons. So something like 3 weeks to finish chapter 2. Can you follow? So this is how the lessons will be given to you. Some chapters even longer. So there will be more lessons. Some chapters are shorter, 2 lessons. So this is a system I follow. Okay. Now number 2. After each lesson, lesson 1, lesson 2, from lesson 2 onwards, I'll be giving tutorial. Can you follow? After lesson 3, on top of your lesson 3, you'll be getting tutorial 2. You will get tutorial 3. So what is this? Now, in your lesson itself, you look at the end of the lesson, you will have objective questions, you will have structured questions. Sometimes there will be no essay questions, sometimes there will be essay. Like in chapter 1, there's no essay. Why? Because the subject matter is not enough to be given as an essay. So that also you should know, oh, chapter 1 normally there will be no essay. Can you follow? So that's how it will be given each lesson. So there will be objective question here, there will be structured question here, and there will be essay question here. Like chapter 1, lesson 1, no essay, but here there will be essay also. Now, tutorial will also follow the same thing. Tutorial will have its own form of objective question, structured question, sometimes there will be essay, sometimes no essay. This tutorial is for you to do it at home. It's not homework. Remember, physics, chemistry, biology, maths, and maths are not normal subjects. They are subjects which needs skill practice. Subject which needs to be enhanced. Just looking at it once is not enough. See, all the questions here will be done in the class. But as a student, you need training. You have to go back and attempt certain question on your own. That means you yourself got to read the question, you got to understand the question, and then you got to attempt and answer the question. That is all skill. No way you can learn that by memorizing. No, these are practices. Skill has to be developed. Skill has to be empowered. So that is why the tutorial comes in. To take care of your work. You have to do my work. This tutorial must be finished. Once tutorial 1 is done, the next week when I give you tutorial 2, I will ask you all whether you all have done your tutorial 1. Based on that, I will provide the answers. Okay, so that answers, you go back to check with your work and see how you've done. And after that, you still have problems. That means you still have problems with tutorial. The next class, you come and ask. Remember, anytime you have any problems, please do not hesitate. That's the key point. You are coming here to learn. You are a learner and I'm an educator. Let's perform that role very, very well. You come to learn, you definitely will have queries, you will have questions asked. Okay? Now, after each chapter, there will be a revision. In the case of chapter 1, there will be no revision because it's too short a lesson. So the revision will start here, your revision 1 will start after lesson 4. What is this revision? This revision is revising the entire chapter. You should know attitude of students. Once you go to lesson 4, all your lesson 1 work, lesson 2 work, lesson 3 work, you would have forgotten. Learning is like that. Even how much you learn a certain subject matter, after 1 week, you forget. So what you need? You need to revise. That's why revision is so important with students don't follow. You need to revise to make sure you keep remembering what you studied. That's where this revision takes over. You'll have a set of objective questions, set of structured questions, set of essay questions. But it will be the revision of the book. Then let's say you go to chapter 3. So you have the lesson 5, lesson 6, lesson 7. And let's say this is up to lesson 8. So again, your tutorial 4, tutorial 5, tutorial 6, tutorial 7 will continue. End of chapter 3, you will have the next revision, which is revision 2, and this revision 2 will entire chapter. The whole thing. So now look at the system. See, my students are usually the top students, they usually get A plus. How do you think you do it? It's not that. This is the system. So that means by you having this revisionary, you are already prepared for your school exam. Let's say a teacher announces, okay, in March we are going to have an exam. You are already ready. You just have to go through your revision 1, revision 2, all your tutorials, finish. You're done. No need to read the text anymore. The question itself is a form of revision. That is how you are going to be trained. This is for physics, this is for chemistry, this is for biology, maths, and maths, everything. Okay? Now, do you have any questions before I continue? Those who are online, is there any question? Are there any questions for you to ask me?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. What about you? How do I address? Yeah. All right. So now I'm going to start the lesson. Okay, let's go to the first lesson, all of you. Okay. Now remember, you already got a set of notes. That notes is for you to go back home and read up. Must you read up? Definitely. Do not miss any pointers that I give you in my notes. A to Z read up. Remember, students, do not read. You make sure you read, and as you're reading, you process it. For example, the statement says, the base quantity is a fundamental physical quantity which cannot be derived at any other base quantities. Such a long sentence. Stop and ask yourself, what is the sentence meaning? Go step by step. Fundamental physical quantity. What's the meaning of fundamental physical quantity? What's the meaning of cannot be derived by? Analyze. That is called processing the knowledge. So when you learn that way, you remember better. So go back, go through. Now, what am I going to do in the classroom? In the classroom, I will approach the subject matter in a different way, from a different angle. Because science subjects cannot be learned, science concept cannot be learned at just one aspect. You must look at it at many aspects. Just like if I hold this marker and ask you to describe everything on this marker, what you see is only the front. Only this to be describing. By you describing the front of the marker, is it describing the whole marker? No, because there's so much to that. So you got to look at the front, you look at the back, you look at the side, the same thing. In a science concept, you have to have a look at many angles. That's what I will do. Number 2, one of the most important reasons you come to my class is to think. Physics is a thinking subject. Not only physics, even chemistry. All science subjects and math subjects requires a lot of thinking. Can you follow? So I will be teaching you how to think by asking you questions and all that. Please participate. Wrong, it's okay. You are not going to be penalized for wrong answers. In fact, I'll welcome you because it's good to make mistakes and then learn from the mistakes. But that is how teaching should be done. So please be very free to interact with me. Give ideas, okay? Especially those who are online, because physically I'm not with you, in contact with you. Please interact and make the class vibrant, okay? All right, let's start. The first topic will be measurement. So you want to take down anything, you can take down, right? You can take down in a piece of paper or on your notes itself, you can write. Okay, you can upgrade your notes because this is a different extract. Okay, now under measurement, the first thing you got to know, what is a quantity? What is a quantity? That's the first thing you got to know. All right. So a quantity, all right, don't say something. It's a very common habit. Students say quantity is something. Try to avoid that. Try to avoid that. Don't say quantity is something. You be different. Other students will say something. You don't say that. You say quantity is a property. Okay, very important is the word that's going to come after this. Quantity is a property that can be measured. Point number 1. So anybody asks you, this is a very important question. What's a quantity? So the first thing you got to throw the examiner is this idea. So you need to connect your sentences there. There's a property that can be, must have this measured. Number 2, how do you measure it? You need to have a proper scientific device. Can you follow? So that can be measured by a scientific device. This is the second pointer. That's how you got to learn and process. Now, more accurate would be standard scientific device, but for SPM standard, no need. You just can say, so now let's put it together. What's a quantity? A quantity that can be measured by a scientific device. That means you must have a scientific device to measure whatever quantity you are saying. Then only we can say that's a quantity. If you don't have a scientific device to measure, then it's not a quantity. Remember that? Okay, now time to think. Question number 1. This is a glass. In the glass, you have water. Is the volume of water in the glass? Volume of water in the glass, is it a physical quantity? Sometimes they use the word physical quantity. Is the volume of water, no penny, no penny. Is the volume of water in a glass considered as a physical quantity? Yes or no? Any one of you? You say yes. Okay, you say yes. Very sure about it. Okay, why? It could be measured by what could be measured? Water is a substance. I need a quantity. That's another problem, sometimes you don't know what's the answer. Volume, not water. What can you measure? Can you see that's how you improve? Make mistakes, you learn better. So don't say water can be measured. What can be measured? Volume of water can be measured. Because volume is the one that you can measure, not the water. Water is just a substance. So volume of water can be measured. Okay, but you must have what? Give me a scientific device that can measure the volume of water. Form 1, Form 2, Form 3 have learned, isn't it? Think about your lab. In your lab, how do you measure a solution? Volume of a solution. Anyone? China? Tanusri? How do you measure the volume of water in your lab? Any solution? Measuring cylinder. Have you heard of measuring cylinder? Yes or not? You all have seen a measuring cylinder? Measuring cylinder is a scientific device to measure volume of any solution, including water. So, do you have a scientific device that can measure this? Can it be measured? Therefore, in physics, volume of water is considered as a physical quantity. Volume of water is considered a physical quantity. Now, what you did, you processed the knowledge. That's the thing of processing. Can you see? You memorize this. This is the definition. We memorize, but if you don't process, like what I did, I gave you a glass, I gave you a volume of water, I asked you, is it? So you need to process. That is what I want you to do when you're learning. Your understanding will be more embedded in your knowledge. Okay. Now tell me, do you have water in an ocean? In an ocean, sea. Do you have water? So you have volume of water in an ocean. So is the volume of water in an ocean, same volume? This is glass. Now I'm asking you to project your mind. Imagine there's a huge ocean, sea, and there's volume of water in the ocean. Is that volume of water in the ocean, is that a physical quantity? Tell me. What do you all think? Those are online. You also can try, huh? Don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's okay. Wrong is all right. Just try. I want to see whether you can think. Is the volume of water in a huge ocean or sea, is it considered a physical quantity? I'll help you. Number 1, for it to be considered a physical quantity, it must be. Number 2, it must have a. So tell me, can it be measured? Do you have a scientific device? No. Why? Because this, in an open sea, there is sun shining, evaporation will take place, some of the water will evaporate. Let's say that we can still measure, and you have a scientific device. The moment you measure, you get the volume, then after 1 hour, you see the volume is different. Number 2, do you have high tide, low tide? And the sea has tides. So the volume is never constant. So the bottom line is the answer should be no. The volume of water in an ocean cannot be considered as a physical quantity for two reasons. Reason number one, it cannot be measured. Reason number two, we actually don't have a proper scientific device to measure it. You want, you can add. This is where more ideas come in. You see, you learn this too. But make sure you are a thinker. You can add it, but and the volume also doesn't remain constant, it fluctuates because of high tide, low tide, because the sea is subjected to tides, and then sea is open, there will be evaporation and so on. So just adding more ideas, make it sensible and logical. So do you have the idea now? What's the physical quantity? Okay, good. All right, I'm going to go further. Those online, give me a feedback. All okay, fine? Tell me yes or no, one of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
sir.
Okay, good. All right, now we move on. All right, now we have so many quantities in physics. So many quantities. Students, I'm telling you, make mistakes, do not know how to differentiate between a quantity and a unit. So make sure you know today. Okay, quantities are area, volume, length, time, distance, radius, diameter, momentum, speed, electric current, temperature, impulse, force, velocity, acceleration. Look at the amount of quantities I put on the board. These quantities are the quantities you will come across in your SPM. Density, power, energy, electric charge. This is electric charge. This is electric current, not the same. Yeah? So all these are the quantities you will come across in your SPM. I've already put down. Of course, there are more, but this is the major one it covers. All right? But when you go to an outside world, when you go to the universities and upgrade it, you will come across even more quantities. But for fun, this is good. That's why I say nothing escapes my hand. But I teach you more than it. You don't need to remember, you need time to revise. Lesson 1, go to lesson 2, lesson 3, you need time to revise. So lesson 1, don't come and tell me, sir, I don't have time. If you don't have time, that means you're doing something else. So don't go waste your time doing something, reading something, taking something, and no, just revise. For physics, chemistry, just revise my lesson. That's very important for you, right? Okay. So these are all the quantities. So these quantities can all be measured. Can all be measured. And they all have what we call a scientific device to measure it. Just that you got to know. All right? And another important one will be time. And forgot mass. Do you understand? Okay. This one you will come across in your lower form. All right. But all these quantities can be further divided into two groups. Base quantity and derived quantity. That means in this group, some of them are base quantities. Some of them are derived quantities. So we got to pick and put them into groups now. We got to pick and group them. That means we got to separate them. Quantity, all of them. But I said base quantity, not all of them. Only certain quantities here are known as base. But and the balance are known as derived. So which is which? But before that, you need to know the definition. What is the base quantity? When you know the definition, then only you can pick, oh, this one means the definition and put that under here. So coming to the definition of a base quantity, definition. Listen. Base quantity is a fundamental physical quantity. You no need to say physical will be still accepted in SPM. That means fundamental quantity is still accepted. By saying physical, you're making it more accurate, that's all. But it's the same. What is the meaning of fundamental? Fundamental means basic. Dalam bahasa, asas, dasar. Umpamanya, kalau dalam matematik kamu belajar mengenai nombor dan sebagainya. Tapi tahukah anda dalam matematik bilangan nombor yang ada yang dikatakan asas dan dasar cuma 10. There are only 10 basic digits. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's all. So there are only 10 digits. They are the basic. Rest of the digits are a combination of them. For example, 243. 243 is a combination of 2, 4, 3. Digit 2, digit 4, digit 3. See, 2, 3, 4 are called digits. 243 is called a number. Get to know the difference. For you, digit, number, all the same. Just like I'm telling you students' mentality. How is my shirt? Okay, sir. How do I look? Okay, sir. How's the movie you saw yesterday? Okay, sir. How's the food that you ate today? Okay, sir. One more, you know. Okay, and you finish your entire life story. You know, you're a scientific student. Your vocabulary must be properly used. There are terminologies. When people ask you about the shirt, you describe. Oh, very colorful, sir. Very vibrant. When you talk about food, spicy, sir. Pungent, sir. Delicious, sir. Tasty, sir. That's how you describe a movie. Oh, exciting, horror, thriller. Not okay. So stop all that. Change your complete attitude. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change your mindset so that you start speaking things accurately. So the same thing coming back to this. So at the same time, you become a very accurate person. Huh? So it's a basic physical quantity. Okay, that's number one. What's a base quantity? Fundamental physical quantity that cannot be derived. Be derived means diterbitkan, cannot be formed. Derived can also mean form. Diterbitkan cannot be derived from other base quantities. See, in your SPM, you don't say base derived from other quantities, full mark. But you are my students. To be more accurate, please do the base. Even in your textbook, don't have it. Not very accurate, but you be accurate. Up to Form 6 level, university level, the definition is powerful. But once you go to Form 6 level, you must have the base. So you're doing A levels, which you do, or Form 6, you need that. So now it's simple only. Can you follow? So what is the base quantity? Quantity that cannot be derived from other base quantities. Can you follow? And you have 7 of them. How many you have? 7. How many base quantities you have? 7. Only 7 in the entire whole world. How many base quantities? 7. 5 or 7? 6 or 7? Okay? Don't never forget. There are only 7. Alright? In your SPM, although there is 7, usually there comes up 5. Although there are 7, usually comes up 5 because the other 2 is considered high standard. Higher standard. Only in Form 6 you use that. So let's get to know. It's all in your notes, but you get to know as I write, you memorize. Okay? Time, mass, temperature, time, mass, temperature. Okay? Electric current. Length. These are the 5, which is very important SPM. Now, besides these 5, we have other 2. Amount of substance. and luminosity. So that makes it 7. So you got to know. But this 5 is the most important. Normally question comes up more involving this. But this one comes up in the direct. They'll say A, B, C, D, they'll give you, and they'll ask you, is luminosity a base or derived? Things like that quite direct. So you can see, sort of this, that is your base. Now, can anybody tell me what about distance? Is it base or is it derived? Remember, another common sense, huh? How many groups? How many groups? 2 groups. How many base quantities here? 7. So if I give you 25 quantities, you should know out of the 25 quantities, base will be how many? So the balance 18 must be what? Common sense or not? Students will think here. Students will think, let's say suddenly a Japanese guy comes and say, not top is a quantity. Not top is a quantity. He creates and he says, base or derived? Students will think, oh, so quantities. Now you tell me, should you think? What quantity is this? Definitely, base 7 and you know all the 7. It's not top inside here. That means derived. That type of logical thinking you need in physics or in science. Can you follow? This common sense thinking sometimes doesn't come to us. Just telling you. Okay. So I'm just singling that. So now I'm coming to this, but before that, let me show you mass. Okay, electric current, temperature. Okay, that's 5. Luminosity is not there, so I'm going to add now. Luminosity, that's 6. And then amount of substance, that's 7. Okay, so all this which you see not circle must be what? Derived quantities. So before you answer this, that, answer this. Is distance derived or base? Who can tell me? Think. Just give me a minute while I fill up the ink. You think and let me know. Then come, let me give you the answer. Yes. Any idea? Shaina, can you tell me? Give me your idea. Is distance, in your opinion, derived or base? What do you think? Don't worry, huh? If it's wrong, it's all right.
So I think it's derived.
Okay. Do you have any reason for that? Never mind. It's okay. You think if it comes up, you can always tell me. Tanushree, what about you? Derived or base?
Derived quantity, sir.
You also say derived. What about you, Priyanka? Derived. So all of you derived, huh? Okay. Now, let me show you how to get the answer. All right. Now, in the event you have a doubt, okay, you ask yourself, okay, what's the meaning of length and what's the meaning of distance? So let's say this is point A, this is point B. When you measure from year to year, that is the length. This is the length you're measuring from A to B. Is the length from A to B also known as distance? When you measure from A to B, is also distance. Yes or no? So isn't that the same? Therefore, they are base. Can you understand that? Can you follow? They're two base. but it comes in a different name. Can you follow? I can't see when you what is length? Length is measuring from one point to the other point. Distance is also the same thing. It's just that it comes in a different name, just like you. You have your full name, your IC. Your parents will call you something like that. Your grandfather will call you something like that. Can you follow what is the thing like that? So that also you must understand. Number two, I'm showing you how to think. What? Give me, let's say from A to B. So let's say this is 15 centimeters. So look at the unit, centimeter. Your distance also will be 15 what unit? Centimeters. So when two quantities share the same unit, they must be the same unit. The unit will be the same. See, centimeters is unit. Distance is quantity. Now I'm differentiating already. Unit is different, distance is different. Sorry, quantity is different. These are all quantities. The unit will quantify. The word quantify, don't think is bombastic word. It's the correct physics word. Start using it. Quantify means telling how big it is. That's the meaning of quantify. So the unit quantifies the quantity. It tells you how big. For example, if I say 15 centimeters, you all, if you know your rulers and all that, your ruler, short ruler, it's about 15 centimeters. Roughly, you know, it's 15 centimeters. If I say 1 meter, oh, 1 kilometer, oh, very good. Can you see? It quantifies. It tells you roughly the measurement of the quantity. Now, what is that? Unit. Okay, 15 meters, 15, all are 15. 15 centimeters, 15 meters, 15 kilometers. All are 15, 15, 15. But because the unit is different, we know one is short, one is long. So that is what in physics we say it quantifies. All right, it tells the measurement, the numerical value. All right, so I'm done. So remember, like that is all these comes under what? Under base length. Radius is a length. From the center of the circle to the circumference is the radius, correct? The length is the length. Height is also length. Your height, the length one. It just comes in a different name. Sometimes they will trick you like that. Do not get tricked. The best thing is go for the unit. Check the units. They say. Okay. So these are the base quantities. Okay. So all that are derived quantities. So now I'm going to give you the definition of a derived quantity. I'm going to give you the definition of a derived quantity. What's the definition? A derived quantity. You see, VN dalam bahasa Melayu, derived quantity berarti quantity terbeta. A process. If you know in English, derived means obtained from. You derive your DNA, your chromosomes, your genes from your parents. You obtain from your parents. So derived means obtained from. Diperoleh. Okay? Diterbitkan. So derived quantity is a quantity, okay, that is obtained from a combination of two or more. Minimum two. It can be three, it can be four. In the STM, 2 or 3. They won't go for that. 2 or more base quantities. So remember, obtained from a combination of 2 or more base quantities. Okay, base quantities. Okay, all right. So now I'm going to process this. Okay, we're going to process it. Now, what do you mean by that? That means you take 2 or more base quantities, you combine them, and you will get a derived quantity. You combine them. Go. See, in chemistry, in your lower form, elements, compounds. You remember? You take hydrogen gas, you take oxygen gas, you burn them. So that is how you combine in chemistry. You burn them By burning them, by heating them, what do? You make them react. So how do you bring about? I just ask you, how do you cause chemical reaction? You as a student should know chemical reaction can be caused by heating. Heating the reactants, is the right word. Hydrogen and oxygen which are reacting are called what? Reactants. So by heating the reactants, we are able to cause a chemical reaction and you get water. H2O. H2O is a combination of hydrogen and oxygen. When you heat up hydrogen and oxygen, what do you get? Water. Nothing but nothing. So the same way, how are you combining the thinking process? You should ask me the question, sir. You said combine, but how are you to combine, sir? In chemistry, sir, when you want to combine, we heat it. In physics, you can't heat it. How are you combining? So we are using mathematical operations. Mathematical operations. In mathematics, the operations are plus, minus, nothing bombastic again. Okay, multiplication and division. There are 4 mathematical operations in maths. So the combination of 2 or more base quantities is done by using multiplication and division. So I'm going to continue by multiplication and division. Most of your, even your textbook doesn't tell you this. Okay? You make sure you always one step higher. I'll always make you one step higher than the rest of the students. You understand? Multiplication and division. That means addition and subtraction cannot use. Can you follow? So the question now is why? So now you are going to do the thinking. Why can't we combine 2 or more base quantities? Stick to 2 lah. Why can't we combine 2 quantities by addition or subtraction? Why must we use multiplication or why must we use division? Can anybody tell? Think. All right, let me give you a. This is length. You add length. That means I'm taking length, one quantity, another quantity length. Although they are same, it doesn't matter. How many quantities you have? 2. And then you add. What do you get? What quantity will you get? When you take length plus length, what quantity did you get? What quantity will you get? Process and tell me. So it is difficult for you because maybe this is the first time you're trying to start to think. You're thinking, yeah, what do you want? Give a value. Take one length. Give you one value. Give one value, 10 meters. Alright? I add another value, 8 meters. What do you get? 18 what? What is this? Length lah. When you take a length, you add a length, you get a length there, I show you. 10 meters is one length. You take another length, 8 meters, you add, you get 18 what? Meters, still length what? So is this a new quantity? What? Is this a new quantity? It's not a new quantity, it's the same quantity which is length. So if you see, derived quantities must be obtaining a new quantity as well. So by adding, I'm telling you, when you add 2 quantities, you get the same quantity. So you're not getting a new quantity. So you can't obtain a new quantity. You cannot derive a new quantity. Bila kamu mencampurkan 2 quantity yang sama, kamu tak dapat menerbitkan satu quantity yang baru. Quantity yang kamu dapat masih quantity yang sama. Sebab itu tidak boleh digunakan proses pencampurkan. So in order to derive a quantity, you have to use multiplication. See what happens when you multiply. Length multiply length. The same thing, you know. What do you get? See, this is again, these are things you got to improve. If I were to put like this, length times breadth, what's the answer? Length times breadth. No? Width. Area. The formula for area is length times breadth. But don't forget, breadth is length under this chapter. Let's just I told you radius, diameter, height, distance, all are length. So length times breadth, your understanding breadth is also length. So length multiplied by length, you see here, 10 meters, you multiply by 8 meters, you get 80, but you don't get meter, you get meter square. Meter times meter square, this is different from this. These are length, but this is area. So you have created a new quantity. So that's the power of multiplication. That's why you need to have this. See, if you like this, not accurate. Because this means you can use addition, you can use subtraction, you can use multiplication, because it doesn't tell you. That's why I want my student to be one step higher. So now let's go for division. Okay? The distance minus time. What's your answer? You tell me. Actually, you know the answer. It's just that your thinking is not working. You do not know how to show. I'll tell you why you know the answer. X minus y. X minus y. What's the answer? Hey, tell me that. X minus y. X minus y is X minus y. I cannot do anything. They are two different unknowns. Same way, distance minus time, the answer was mixer. Distance minus time is distance minus time. Cannot do anything. So your minus or even plus, same thing, as another restriction. Two different quantities cannot be added. Distance plus time cannot. X plus y cannot. X plus 2x, 3x. Can you follow? Y plus 2y, 3y. But y plus x cannot. So two different unknowns, variable, cannot be added, cannot be subtracted. Two different quantities cannot be subtracted, cannot be added. But look what happens. Remember, whatever you need to take down, you take down on your own. I won't be giving you time to take down. Distance divided by time. Have you come across this formula? This is what is known as speed. The formula for speed is distance over time. Better take down if you don't know the formula. Take down somewhere. Speed is distance divided by time. So that means two different quantities, but can it be divided? Yes, you can divide. So by you using multiplication and division, you can mix the quantities. So there is no limitation here. No limitation. You have a limitation. These are the things you must see. In understanding the derived quantity, complete understanding. Can you follow? Okay? Okay. All right. Now we are coming to more detailed one. So for all good, huh? All of you are good so far. We have to go back and read out. Okay. All right. Proof. False. Because step by step. Proof velocity. I'm now introducing velocity. Is a derived quantity. Proof velocity is a derived quantity. You tell me first of all, is velocity a derived quantity? Is velocity a derived quantity? Yes or no, students? Is velocity a derived quantity? Velocity is a derived quantity because only how many base quantities? 7. And velocity is not one of them. So everything else must be derived. So velocity is a derived quantity. The examiner asks you to prove. You don't need to prove, but you just give me the idea. How are you going to prove it? Based on what you've studied so far, you should give me the idea. Those online, if you got the idea, please let me know. How are you going to prove that velocity is a derived quantity? What is the definition of a derived quantity? Use the definition. The definition of a derived quantity is a quantity that is obtained from the combination of two or more base quantities. Can all of you memorize that for a while? Take the notes and memorize the definition of derived quantity in the class now. Just take about 1-2 minutes, memorize it. So that it's in your mind. All right, let's continue. Remember, derived quantity is it must be obtained from two or more base quantities. So, if you want to prove velocity is a derived quantity, use your concept. So, you have to show to the examiner this comes from how many quantities? Two or more base quantities. Remember the 7? I told you, forget about luminosity, forget about amount of substance. Answer the 5. Length, time, mass, temperature, electrical. Is 5, 2 or 3, don't know how many, combined will give you this. You have to show that to the examiner. Remember, that's how you prove a certain quantity is derived, because the definition says if it is derived, it must come from two or more base quantities. So your job is to break the velocity and show to the examiner, look, velocity is actually made up of two or more base quantities. So how do we go back? How do we go about doing that? The first thing is you need the formula. That formula is very important in physics. So as many formulas I will give it to you in the class, your job is to memorize. So let's start with the first. So here, prove speed, okay, is a derived quantity. So speed is also a derived quantity. Later you will learn, in fact in this chapter itself, velocity is a vector quantity. I'll explain that to you later. Right now you can accept. Speed is scalar quantity. They are actually brothers and sisters. But the difference is one is a vector, one is a scalar. But both of them are what quantity? Derived quantity. So in the exam will come out, you are given speed and velocity, right? The exam will give you like that, speed and velocity. Give one similarity, kesamaan, one differences. The similarity is this. So the similarity, will say the similarity between them is both of them are what quantity? Derived quantity. That's the similarity between them. The difference between them is this is a scalar quantity. What is scalar? I have not taught yet. You'll come to that later. And velocity is a vector. That's it. See, all these are exam questions. Can you see it? All right. So, number one, you need the formula. So, I'm introducing the formula. Formula of velocity is displacement over time. You can't use any other formula. You must say displacement over time, although I have not taught you what is displacement yet, but you must know. Okay? All this will be taught slowly. Speed is what you have learned in your lower form, distance over time. So can you see they almost look the same? Now, I want to let you know displacement is actually length. Distance is actually length. So in the next step, you show equals to length over time. That means you start with this. This is a correct formula. After that, you show to the examiner actually distance by putting length over time. You're telling this length over time. So this is length over time. Now remember again. Oh, I'm not going too fast. Huh? Remember again. What must you prove? You must show to the examiner that velocity is made up of how many base quantities? 2 or more. Must be base. This also 2 or more. So now, once you have done this, ask yourself, is this the base quantity? Is length the base quantity? So, is this a base quantity? So the whole thing is base. You already proved. And now stop. You stop, you give your conclusion. Hence, velocity is a combination of 2 base quantities. So you already 2 base quantities, that is length and time. So you don't go back to displacement, put length and time. Can you follow? The same thing here. Same thing here. Hence, speed. Same thing. So therefore, velocity is proven is derived quantity. Same thing you write here. Speed is derived quantity. Take this down. Find a space, take it down. Okay, so I've already done this. Okay, now those are online. So far, all okay? Can you follow any one of the answer? Okay? Okay, good. All right, I'm going to proceed. If you need more time for that, let me know. Sir, we need more time, or sir, just give me 1 minute about that. Okay, otherwise I'm going to erase it. Okay. Okay. So now we are done with quantities. We are going to units. Units is much faster. So as I told you, units describes a quantity. Every quantity in physics must have a unit. So when you calculate a quantity, for example, area, you find it's 20, the unit must be given 20 meters squared, 20 centimeters squared. The unit must be there. Without the unit, marks will not be given for the quantity. So remember, unit describes the quantity. As I told you earlier, it quantifies how big is the quantity. Tells you whether the quantity is big or small. So you have, for example, for length, you have centimeters. which is a small quantity, sorry, small unit. You have millimeters, even smaller. You've learned all this in your lower form. You have meter, you have kilometer. So all these are big units. These are small units. So a certain quantity does not have only one unit, it has many units. But among the unit, one unit is considered the standard. So in physics, we have what we call the SI. Okay? SI means it's an Italian word, French word, I mean. Okay? Internationale Systeme. But in English, it's SI. But it means Internationale Systeme. So all physics follows this SI unit, follows this SI system. All right, so based on the SI system, among all the units for length, meter is considered as the SI unit. It's a standard, so we call it the SI unit. So now I'm going to put, this must be memorized. Length, mass, time, electric current, okay, temperature, luminosity, amount of substance. Each of them have an SI unit. This one must be memorized. For length, the SI unit is meter. You can't say centimeters, you can't say kilometers. So you must memorize. For mass, it's kilogram. Remember when you write kilogram, the K is small. They're all very important. Don't go and write like that, kilogram. Wrong. Small k, small g. Kilogram. Your time, you have hours, you have minutes, but the SI unit is seconds. For electric current is ampere. For temperature, it's Kelvin, not degrees Celsius. Remember, for temperature, normally we use this. This is common. Even when you're doing your physics and all that, it's all degrees Celsius. What you need to remember is there's another unit for temperature called the Kelvin. Kelvin, this Kelvin symbol is capital K. This is capital K, no degree sign. This is the SI unit. You have to memorize it. But the common unit is degree Celsius. So sometimes the common unit is degree Celsius. That does not make it the SI. But SI is special depending on the system. So you have to memorize that. Luminosity and amount of substance, you don't need to know. But anyway, I mean, you just have to memorize that. Candela. Candela is in your note, C-A-N-D-E-L-A, short form CD. Amount of substance is mole. This one you'll come across in chemistry. Okay, these are all the SI units. Okay, it's all in a table, you got to memorize that. So that are the units. The rest I will explain to you as I go over. Okay, this is the SI units. This one is known as SI units. Further, SI base units. Why base? Because these all are the base. Base quantity. So they are SI base unit. Now, listen, this is the part I don't want you to be confused. Derived quantity as two SI units. Derived quantity as how many SI units? Why? Why? Because all derived quantity comes from the base. So because it comes from the base, they will have these quantities inside them. And that makes it SI base. So two quantities. One is SI base unit obtained from, and this becomes more complicated. Let's start understanding. Obtained from base quantity, I'll explain to you. The other one is simplified. SI unit. This is simplified. This is memorization. That means the other one, the physics has simplified it for you. Okay, so let me show you. The famous one everybody must memorize is force. The famous one everyone must memorize is force. So now we're going to go after force. Force. So listen, listen. Okay? Now, I want to get the units of force. I want to get the units of force. So I know force is a derived quantity. So force will have how many units? 2 SI units. Force has 2 SI units. Okay, force has 2 SI units. One base and the other one will be simplified SI unit. Alright, which means this is not base. Simplified SI units. So here remember this one is not base. So one is base and one is not base. Can you follow? Okay, so I'm going to start with the base. Always, so you must know the formula for force. Mass times acceleration. So remember, to prove, I go back, to prove force is a base, sorry, to prove force is a derived quantity, I must show that force is made up of base quantities. The one I did the stuff of velocity and speed. Can you follow? So I have to break it down until it's made up of base. Now the same steps will be used to find the units of force. So that means to find the units of force is the same step as proving that force is a derived quantity. Same steps. So this is, okay, follow me. Where force, this formula everybody must know. Force is what? Mass times acceleration. Please memorize. Number 2, mass. Next, acceleration, you all must know, is velocity divided by time. The second formula I'm giving you. So acceleration is what? Velocity divided by time. So this is acceleration. I put an arrow there for you. Take it down, memorize. Take about a few seconds, memorize it. Because there are a lot of formulas will come in, so slowly I'm giving it to you. Okay, earlier I give you one. Velocity is displacement over time, speed is distance over time. Yes or not? Please take the time to memorize. Okay, now I'm giving you the next 2 formulas. First, force, mass times acceleration, and then acceleration is velocity times time, so I'm breaking it up. Okay, now I'm coming to the third formula. Velocity is displacement over time. Remember, I gave you this formula earlier. Velocity is displacement over time, correct or not? Okay? So now you have this, what do? This is your mathematics already, not physics anymore. Correct or not? You see here, make sure half divided by 2 will be half times 1/2. The 2 you inverse, am I right? This half is this. These 2 will become 1/2 inverse, will become quarter. So in other words, you multiply the same thing, time and time multiply, time square. Can you understand? So from here, please go to here. Make sure you don't have a problem. No need to do like this. Okay, then it's too long. So that's your mathematics. So you have to work on all this. That means you must know this is equals to this. That's why I'm asking you to take it down. Okay, once you have done here, I'm asking you, is this base? Remember your 5. Displacement. Is displacement a base? Remember, displacement is length. I gave it just under velocity. So this is length. Base. Is this base? So all of them are base. So force is a derived quantity where it comes from how many quantities? 1, 2, 3. Mass, don't say displacement, length and time. Although it's displacement, when you want to say it's a derived quantity, you must say force is a derived quantity obtained from 3 base quantities which is mass, length. Although it's displacement, you can say length. Examiner will understand. Because displacement is length. Time. Don't say time square because you just want to say how many quantities make it. You don't want to give a formula. You understand? So mass, length, time. Three of them combined to give you that. Multiplication, division. Can you see both involved? Okay? This is proving. Remember, I'm stopping that for you to write whatever you want to write. Okay. There's so much to learn at the beginning. So slowly. So now we have up to here, we have already proved. So you can use this formula to get the unit. Unit of force will be unit of mass. What's the SI unit of mass? kg, kilogram. What's the SI unit of displacement? Remember, displacement is length. Meter. SI unit of time. Second square. So now you can't simplify further, really. So kg and usually the one denominator will bring it to the numerator will become minus 2. Do you have a problem with that? This is s squared. Do you have a problem when it comes up? That's a formula. From denominator, when you bring it up to the numerator, the power must be given a negative sign. So this will be s minus 2. Now, this is a SI base unit. Kilogram. Meter is a SI base unit belonging to length. SI base unit. So all these are SI base units. So overall, this is the SI base unit for force. Can you see? Now comes the golden one. Listen. So in physics, the physicists believe it is a bit too long for force. Must you know this? Yes. But for using it every day, it's too long. Can we simplify? So the physicist says yes. We will simplify this. But there's no formula for that. It's just memorization. So we remember a very important physicist, scientist who contributed his work for physics. We want to remember him. His name is Sir Isaac Newton. So in the honor of Sir Isaac Newton, force is simplified as Newton. So this whole thing is equal to what? Newton, capital N, Newton. So 1 Newton is the same as 1 kg ms minus 2. The difference is this is SI base unit. This is simply SI unit, which is not base. There's no base for this. But both of them are the SI. Can you see both the SI units of force? So when I ask you, what's the SI units of force? You can give me 2. You can give me Newton. You can give me kg ms minus 2. Okay? So I can ask you, what's the similarity between Newton and kg ms minus 2? Similarity. So your answer will be both are SI units for what? Well, that's a similarity. Huh? Both are SI units of force. What's the difference between them? This is base. This is not base. Can you see how I can ask you? I'm already covering. This is base. This is not base. Now take 1 minute to remember what I just told you. Take down and remember. Write it down. Start memorizing. Start learning how to think. So imagine you learn like that. When come January when school opens, look at where you'll be standing. You'll be so ahead. You'll know the chapter before it's even taught in school. That's how you make your life easier. Okay. Now, go back and go through what I've given you. Now I'm going to add. Now, velocity and acceleration, I want you to memorize the units. Why? They are also very common quantities in your SPM, your questions. So the SI unit will be ms minus 1 meter per second. Acceleration SI units is ms minus 2. Look at the difference. Velocity and acceleration looks almost the same. For velocity is minus 1, the power. Acceleration is minus 2. Take down that. Now look, remember all these are important. I already told you. Okay, this is what will come out. So make sure you go back and read. So when they ask you, find, see, you already know the unit of velocity is ms minus 1. But I want to show you how we got that unit. So it is go back to the formula. Always remember to find the unit or to prove, you go back to the formula. If it's proving, you just break it down up to the base quantity, you stop. For unit, you break it down to the base quantity and then you put in the unit. So here, start with the formula. What's the formula of velocity? Very good. Displacement over time. Now straight away tell me, is this, are they both base quantities? So you straight can substitute the unit. So what's the unit of velocity? See, this is quantity. When you want to substitute the unit, please write unit of velocity. Right? Because you're substituting the unit. Unit of displacement is meter. SI unit. Unit of time is, bring the numerator on top. That's how you get that. So now I want you to memorize it. So if the examiner asks you to prove, you must prove like that. Both you must know. Go back and learn. Unit of acceleration. Acceleration will be, now remember just now I gave you, the formula for acceleration is velocity over time. Now, is the examiner asking you to prove it's a base quantity? No, sorry, it's a derived quantity. It's not asking you to prove that, because if you want to prove that, you cannot stop here. You must break down this, because this is not base. You have to go on. But the examiner wants unit. Unit you can stop anywhere as long as you can substitute. So I'm asking you, do you know the unit of velocity? That's why I told you to memorize. So you don't need to break it further. Can you see? You don't need to break it further. Straight away, unit of acceleration is ms minus 1. Time will be s. So mathematics says you bring it up, will become minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, become only minus 2. So equals to ms minus 2. That's how you get this unit. Take it out, go back, go through. Okay. Answer. Go back to objective now. Look at the end question now. Okay, end question. Look at the objective question, end question. Okay. Now, answer for me question 2. All of you. I'll be asking one by one the answer. So, question 2, question 6, question 7. Question 2, question 6, question 7. All right? Can you answer that now? 2, 6, and 7. Don't take too long. Okay. Now, question number 2. What's the answer for question number 2? Priyanka, what's the answer for question number 2? You said C. Tanushree, what's the answer for question number 2?
B, sir.
C. What about you, Shaina? Any idea? Shaina? Okay.
Teacher, for what question, teacher?
Question 2.
C, teacher.
C, very good. C is the correct answer because mass, length, temperature are base quantities. Remember, you must memorize the 7 base quantities. The rest are all derived, so correct. By the way, can you put in bracket, weight is known as gravitational force. I don't want this force. It is force, but it is due to gravity, correct or not? Weight is due to gravity, force due to gravity, so put a gravitational force. Gravitational, gravitational force. So the unit is Newton. Weight is also force. If I ask you, is weight force? The answer should be yes, sir. It is force. Remember, force comes in many different names, just like length, radius, diameter, think like that now. Widen your knowledge. So it is force. Weight is force. SI units of weight, Newton. Put that there. SI unit of weight is Newton. Okay, now go for question 6. What's the answer for question 6? Tanushri, answer for question 6.
B, sir.
B, Shaina?
B, sir.
B, B, very good. All of you are excellent. Good. The rest are all derived. You understand? Rest are all derived. That's why you only have to remember the 7, you know the others are derived. Question number 7, answer. Shaina, what's the answer for question number 7?
Wait, A, teacher.
A, Tanushri?
A, sir.
A and Priyanka? A, very good. That's the answer. Good. Okay. Now I want you all to answer question number 2. Go to question number 2. Sorry, question number 3. Now, remember you need the formula. So I'm giving you the formula on the board. Density is mass over volume. So this is the next formula you must memorize. Remember what you're doing are all SPM questions. All the previous SPM questions, so you can see in the SPM, they ask you all this. So you must memorize that. So using the formula, get for me the unit. Question number 3. The one I taught you there is the one on the board. Now I taught you to get the unit from the formula. So get for me the unit. All right. What's the answer for question number 3, Priyanka? Donkey. Tanushri? Can you give me the answer? Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Not sure. Okay. Shaina?
It's C, teacher.
Which is answer?
C.
C. Okay, let's see. All right. So you are asked to find the SI units for density. So I told you got to start in the formula. So you already got the formula. So unit of density. So you follow. Mass is the numerator. So unit of mass is SI, kg. Volume, you should know by now. If you do not know, remember, you take a rough piece of paper, you put volume is length times breadth times height. So remember, this is length, breadth is also length, height is also height. So the SI unit, so unit of volume, the SI unit will be meter, breadth also meter, breadth also meter, so it's meter cube. So remember, memorize it. Area will be meter square. Put down there. SI units of area, meter square. SI unit of volume, meter cube. So you come here, you put meter cube. But I told you, don't leave it like that. Bring it up. So Saina, you look at your mistake here. Careless mistake. When you bring denominator to numerator, the power must become negative. So answer is D. I think you made a careless mistake. You chose C. Never mind, doesn't matter. So we learn from mistakes. Answer is D, donkey. Good, excellent. All right, I'm going to stop here for today. So please, you don't need to do any questions. All right, because we're not finished the whole chapter yet, whole lesson yet. So just that what I taught you, I want you to go. All that I taught you, but you can read the whole notes. Read the whole notes and come. But no need to practice any questions yet. You will have enough questions to do. At the same time, you're also on holiday. So enjoy your holidays, read up, okay? And then next week when I come, I will be bombarding you with 1 or 2 questions to see whether you've learned the lesson. Please answer my question. All right? Okay, I'll give you a 50 minutes break.